Disclaimer, these videos are not made to be taken negatively. If the Pokemon discussed in one of these videos happens to be Pokemon you like, that's cool, just don't hate the video based on that fact alone. These videos are designed to talk about the competitive uses of certain Pokemon and have a little bit of fun. So I've been doing this worst Pokemon stuff for a little while now, and as expected, it has gotten a fair amount of hate. Whether it's people complaining in the comments because their favorite Pokemon is featured in the video, like damn dude, I get comments nearly every day about Glaceon. Now I get evolutions are popular and they're really cool Pokemon, but I had no idea that there were this many Glaceon fans. Glaceon's a cool Pokemon, but competitively, it's really not that great. It's probably the worst competitive evolution. Sorry. Then there's also people complaining that the Pokemon featured in the video isn't the worst Pokemon ever and that this Pokemon is worse, blah blah blah. And then there's comments which are kind of my favorite. I think these people just don't play Pokemon. They comment stuff like, is Zapdos the worst Pokemon? Or is Mega Blaziken the worst Pokemon? Stuff like that. Not sure if they're trolling, not sure if they just don't play Pokemon. Today though, we will silence all of those haters and we'll be looking at what is actually the worst Pokemon ever. This Pokemon is so bad that it is in fact my least favorite Pokemon as well. And with that being said, the Pokemon we'll be discussing today will be Archeops. Now I know what you might be thinking, OMG, but see, Archeops has such high attack stats and a good speed. I used it in my playthrough of Black version when I was 12 and I did so well against the 5th gym leader. I get it. Just because a Pokemon can be good when you're playing through the story and playing through gym leaders doesn't mean that it is good competitively. Pokemon is a relatively easy game unless you're nuzlocking it or playing some sort of hack, so it's really not too uncommon to be able to beat the game with bad Pokemon. From a competitive standpoint, however, good luck winning so many battles with an Archeops on your team. Taking a closer look at Archeops, Archeops is a rock and flying type Pokemon with a stat distribution of 75 HP, 140 attack, 65 defense, 112 special attack, 65 special defense, and 110 speed. On paper, these stats actually look pretty good. You have a great attack stat, a good special attack stat, and a pretty good speed stat as well of 110 to go along with it. The defenses are rather lacking, but this Pokemon looks like it could be a pretty good offensive glass cannon. And then you take one glance at its ability and you realize why this Pokemon is so terrible. Archeops has the unique ability Defeatus, which halves its attack and special attack stats when its HP is below 50%. I'm sure some of you are still thinking, oh, but see, it's not that bad since Archeops is fast enough and has high attack stats to help it out that it won't be below half if you just kill everything. But when you consider the fact that Archeops has so many common weaknesses, rock, electric, ice, water, and the list goes on, and that it's weak to Stealth Rocks, which is one of the most common moves in the singles metagame, it's pretty easy to dip below that 50% HP threshold and be a useless Pokemon. The way I look at it is if a Pokemon is literally useless 50% of the time, that's not a good thing. Now Archeops does have some positives that can help it out, such as access to some pretty good utility options like Taunt, Stealth Rocks, and Defog. This makes Archeops a pretty decent lead Pokemon as well, since it also has access to U-turn and it's capable of either setting up rocks or taunting opposing threats. Taunting can help prevent Stealth Rocks from going up on your side of the field, which is pretty nice, and you do have a great attack stat of 140 and a pretty good special attack stat of 112, making Archeops a threat on the physical and special side, as long as it has over 50% health though. Archeops also has a decent enough move pool as well. It's not great, but it's definitely not bad. And with physical moves such as Zen Headbutt, Shadow Claw, Rock Slide, Knockoff, Earthquake, and Acrobatics, the coverage options are there on the physical side. And now onto the negatives. Earlier I did mention how Archeops can be a pretty okay lead Pokemon due to its utility move pool. However, the problem with this lies in the fact that if your opponent predicts what you're going to go for, whether it's a taunt or a Stealth Rocks, they can easily go for an attacking move, and pretty much any attacking move will be enough to knock this Pokemon to below half health since its defenses are pretty low. Now you do have Roost, which can help you out a little bit and get above half health, which is kind of nice, but with poor defenses like that, good luck pulling off too many Roost to bring you above half health. Archeops' attacking move pool is pretty decent as well. However, on the special side, you are rather lacking, with your best stab option being Ancient Power, and on the physical side, you really don't have a great stab flying move unless you want to use No Item in Acrobatics. You could maybe give it some sort of consumable item to help with Acrobatics if you think that's worth it. In my opinion, I really don't think it's good to have no item and acrobatics on top of the fact that your ability basically hinders it. So there you have a useless ability and no item, which are not good things to do with your Pokemon. In terms of improvements, the obvious give it literally any other ability that doesn't just hinder to make it a bad Pokemon would be nice. Even something as simple as pressure would make this Pokemon good enough to shoot all the way up from PU to as high as even UU, I believe. It could also use a better stab flying move, which is a common issue for rock types and flying types to be fair, and Archeops is, well, both. Power Gem would be really nice on the special side since it is one of the best special rock type moves in the game, if not the best special rock type move in the game, as well as a better stab physical flying move like Drill Peck. Drill Peck really isn't that common of a move for whatever reason, just an 80 base power flying move with no drawback. It would be nice to have that since Brave Bird, although it would be decent, you really don't want to take recoil damage due to the Defeatist ability making you such a bad Pokemon. Maybe in the future Archeops will get some sort of hidden ability that isn't Defeatist that doesn't make it useless, but for now it joins Regigigas and Slacking in the list of Pokemon that are useless solely based off of their ability. And with all that out of the way, let's move on to the rating. So for offense, I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. This is a little bit tricky to rate since although Defeatist halves Archeops' attack stats when its HP is below half, it does have great attack stats when it's above 50%, which I can't ignore. 140 attack is an insanely high attack stat, that is a phenomenal attack stat, and 112 special attack really isn't bad. 110 speed on top of that is great, and the only thing holding this Pokemon back from getting a rating between a 4 and a 5 is the Defeatist ability. For defense, I'll be a little generous to Archeops to give it a 2 out of 5. Archeops has a pretty mediocre defense stat line of 75 HP and 65 in both defenses. You do have access to Roost to help out a little bit, but like I said earlier, due to all your common weaknesses, it's going to be pretty hard to pull off those Roosts. Not to mention, Flying and Rock combined really isn't a great defensive typing, which is why Archeops gets such a low rating in defense. For versatility, I'll give Archeops a 3 out of 5. Archeops is surprisingly relatively versatile. This is mainly due to its good attack, good special attack, good speed, and good utility options. Taunt, U-Turn, Stealth Rock, Dragon Tail, those are all pretty good moves for a support set, while offensively you're capable of being a physical, special, or mixed attacker. This is probably Archeops' best characteristic, since if you're running more of a support set, the attack drops don't matter that much. On the other side though, if you're not running any offensive moves and you get the drops, you basically have a useless ability and you're not doing any damage. For move pool, I'll give Archeops a 4 out of 5. Archeops has a pretty decent utility move pool and a good enough physical and special move pool to go on top of that. It has good enough coverage to help it out, and the only real downside to Archeops is its special move pool, which is a bit shallow, and its lack of good stab moves on the physical side. Viability, I'll give Archeops a 2 out of 5. Archeops just really isn't that viable. Despite it being a pretty bad Pokemon and my personal least favorite Pokemon, it's not viable. There's a few different sets you could use, and in lower tiers, it could maybe surprise your opponents and be a pretty decent Pokemon, but it's a shame how much this Pokemon's ability holds it back, otherwise it would be a very, very good Pokemon. And that is Archeops. Let me know what you guys think of Archeops in the comments down below for a chance to have your comment featured in the next Worst Pokemon video, like this comment right here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well if you are new. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.